All right. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for clicking on this video, and you're going to get some value in return. This is my normal trade signal, but this time it's the November trade signal. You guys are going to know right now, all right, before the month starts and ends of November, what to look for on SPY and the sentiment of the broader market. That's what this video is for. Thank you guys for clicking on this video. I really do appreciate it. Do me a favor, smash the like button, right? Smash the like button if you've been getting value, right? And I'm going to give you some more in return just for showing up each and every week for me. I appreciate you guys, okay? So subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. I'm going to go ahead and get right into the video. I know what you guys came here for, right? And it's November, all right? November is the month of the hour, all right? Doesn't whisper. It's really testing you. Every tick, every flicker of price action right now is a conversation between patience and fear, all right? The retail trader versus the professional. And you can feel it, can't you? The market's heartbeat is changing its tempo. You can sense that the pressure is building before something gives. And the COT report just dropped. Liquidity is rotating. The charts, they're lighting up. SPY, QQQ, IWM, MDY, these are all risk on segments, and you have price moving up towards green percentage. That means if these stocks are up, we have a risk on for the broader market. That's what you need to know. All right, so this isn't noise, this is just signal, and right now the best traders aren't predicting, they're preparing, just like you guys are. So today we're going to break down the November trade signal, what's flashing, what matters, and how you guys can execute with precision. All right, now before we get into that, I want to hop over to my YouTube channel. If you guys didn't check out that video from last night, 22 hours ago, right? How to profit from traders who make mistakes, okay? How pro traders profit from human mistakes. This video prepared everyone who watched for the SPY moves that happened today. It was very beautiful. Now, I won't play this video. You go back and watch it whenever you get time. I just want to give you guys receipts to let you know the accuracy of the unique trading group, okay? This here, all right, is where strategy meets mindset and discipline turns into income. All right, now let's hop over to the SPY chart. I know you guys have been waiting. Right here we have the daily. Now we're going to start with the monthly time frame, okay? Of course, this is the monthly trading signal, right? So why not go to the monthly time frame? And right here in front of you, you have a green light, yellow light, and red light. What does these horizontal elementary color lines mean? All right, well, they mean a monthly price movement range, right? A monthly price movement range. The green line right here represents where price has left from, meaning that it got bought up, right? And also the yellow line is the midway point of the high and low of this candle, all right? Want to keep it simple, keep it stupid. We need 3 lines to measure the range of the month so that when we move back down to a smaller time frame, we can get our optimal entries and exit based on our system on the monthly. That's right, green light, yellow light, and red light. Why a red line here? Because price has rejected from there before, all right? Resistance. Yellow line is the midway point, and green is, again, where we have bought, all right? That's what you want to understand. Now, SPY has been compressing. And we're going to get off of the monthly. You see these changes in front of you? Watch these same lines. Watch how price reacts on a smaller time frame. Let's go to a weekly. All right, now we have a weekly, okay? See the weekly hitting the top of these Bollinger Bands? That's where we are, all right? Now, this range that happened today, all right, in the previous days before we melted up, it wasn't really random. It was a battlefield, all right? Inside it, liquidity is shifting hands quietly. That's what traders who wait win. You understand what I'm saying? The same thing with QQQ, IWM, MDY, and SPY right in front of you. Now, what's the most important thing about the monthly trading signal? Remember, these lines come from our monthly price movement range, all right? And the monthly close that we got today is 682.25. That's right, 682.25. That was the previous close as of today, 10/31, October 31st. All right, the first will be tomorrow, but the market doesn't open, so it's going to be open next week on Monday. And you want to see, pay attention close, grab your notes, all right, right in front of you. You want to see price open up above 682.25 in order to see continuous momentum to the upside. That's right, you want to see the continual momentum to the upside. All right, you want price to equity curve to be going upward. All right, you don't want to try to buy leaves or go long in a choppy market like this. Okay, doesn't make sense. All right, we're ranging. You don't want want that. You want a continuous flow up. So you want to see price get above 682.15. Now, what if price gets above it and fall back? What if you miss it? What if we rally over the weekend and you missed it? All right. I always stress to wait for pullbacks. All right. And today you're going to get a precise area for you to pull back to. Now, let's look at the 1 hour chart. Now, of course, we are bullish on a higher time frame, the quarterly, the yearly, the biannually on the SPY. So it makes sense for us to get the buy the dip moment, and that's what we've been getting. Granted, we're not going to always go up, right? But the dips are being bought. Understand market behavior, market structure, market sentiment. This is simple things that's been happening for years. I didn't create this. I didn't make it up, right? But I do use it to my advantage, understanding without trading for fear, like right now. Before we get into this analysis with the monthly trade signal right in front of you, what do you have? All right. You remember that green, yellow, and red line that we put on the monthly? That's our monthly price movement range. Price can bounce back between these zones. Right now, we are above it. Now, what do you want to see? First of all, just like right here, this is my QQE module, just like the RSI and the MACD. This is where price curl, it's oversold, people buy. Just like right here, we bought the dip right here on this higher low. If you're watching this and this is fun and it's making sense to you and you feel like you can trade watching these videos, smash that like button, because I'm telling you, these are one of the greatest videos you're ever going to see from somebody who's been trading for a while, who keeps it simple and stupid. I never deviate. You can back check some of the videos and my expertise and find out that you have a home here, understanding how to trade without a bunch of indicators, but price action and market structure. Okay, that's what we're focusing on now. What you want to see, all right? How come if price, right? Let's just say price comes and it gets above and you missed it. Now, like I said, what if it gets above that previous close and we want to try to find a pullback? Where would you wait for a pullback? Pay attention, take notes. The last month's previous high. What was the last month's close? The high and the close. These are your pivot points. They come from last month. I already know what that number is, but I'm going to give it to you now. All right, we don't have to go back and look, but the previous high of last month candle was 678. All right, 678 was the high of the last month's candle. And so you want to wait for a possible pullback to that number. Now, right on the chart, 678 will be right around here. Now, we've already pulled back to that number today and we bounced around and created a little base here at 678 and held. All right, maybe some orders or some algos came in from institutional orders or regular people, fidelity orders that buy shares, right? But the orders came in, right? Order flow, it got bought up, right? And so we have to get above this 21 EMA on this level, right? Our hour, all right, is our filter for our entries and exits, right? But the higher time frame gives us our direction. And so just on the 1 hour, we do want to see price get above 683 in order to continue to hit these highs. But we want to wait for a pullback, and 678 is one of those areas that it's already bouncing from. Now, we currently just closed around 682. Okay, we closed around 682 and we are currently above that. We are currently below that right now. So we're in between the closing price of the 31st today, and we're in between the previous high of last month close. That's the cluster in the range of emotion that we're in. Now, if we wake up next week, no matter where we are, up or down, you are to understand this really careful, all right? That 678 is a level. That's the month. As long as it holds, we're bullish, creating this higher low here. But the next level, right, is these gap fills around 671, which would be the midway point of our monthly price movement range to fill that gap. I want that area. This is a really, really good area to buy. Now, does that have to assume we get that right away? No, it doesn't, all right? We don't know what could happen. A Trump tweet over the weekend, anything, right? The COT report is bullish. We already know that it's bullish. And what does that mean for the new people watching? It stands for the commitment of traders. The commitment of traders. That's right, the COT report. And by law, legally, banks, commercial banks have to report their positions. And I've seen that report, all right? That insider leak has been leaked. I've seen it. I know how to read the data, and I'm telling you, it is mildly bullish. They are adding to their longs. The banks are adding to their longs. That's what's going on. And so if I can get a pullback, I want to wait to get a pullback to 671, as I discussed on my previous video. If we wake up and price is higher than where we are, right, and you didn't catch those swings, you want to wait for price to pull back to these previous zones here. Okay, rewind the video if you don't understand that. Now, everybody wants to catch the move. all right? But few want to wait for the right setup. That's what it's about. What I just gave you is a system, a setup, all right? Opening price opens up higher than the previous close, which I gave you, 682. Bullish momentum, below it bearish momentum. Look for previous ranges, understanding what's below you, what's the context of the market. Do we have these gaps that need to be filled? This is a previous range here, all right? You want to wait for price to pull back, okay? This is what you're looking for. Well, we already got that move back today that I warned you guys about, and it got bought up, okay? Could we get a two-legged pullback? Possibly, all right? Could we see even further downside? That's even more possible. Who knows, okay? 651, but only as a consequence of it breaking structure and breaking previous ranges. Never assuming, but waiting for the right setup, waiting for the right signal to attack. That's what it's about, all right? So, your green light is when the shift in volume happens, period. That's the moment when the market shows its hands, and it showed its hands towards the end of the day. The first breakout, that was bait. The confirmation, that's control, all right? You guys already see that we have these breakouts here, okay? We've been breaking out ever since, all right? Since the October trade signal I gave you guys, 645 in August to close 645, all right? We've been up ever since here. This is that moment right there. And we've been going up, taking a breather, going up, taking a breather. The same scenario that I gave you and just talked about here about us falling back to previous zones, it already happened here before once. At this same zone here, at the midway point, 671, if we ever get that pullback, remember guys, this is just a scenario, right? I don't have a crystal ball, and we don't want to pick tops and bottoms. We want to understand context and technical patterns that trap in rookies who are chasing, all right? They're not watching these videos. Understand that. Now, the same way this price dropped, we broke this trend here. I want you guys to see this. I want you guys to see this simple line break right here. Something simple, breaking up structure. Once price breached, somebody enter into that trade right below the 21, okay, right below the 21 EMA, which is an optimal high probability setup. ATM sound, say it with me. All the way down to retest previous demands. We talked about this, okay? Same thing can happen. You never know. Once us big money let go of our profits and we're done and our stops get ran, that's what could possibly happen. SPY wants to try to hit 695, 690, and 700. That's where we're trying to head to. So remember I said that. Now, what I want to do is I want to segue over to some commentary to let you guys see what's going on with BlackRock and crypto and how the overall broader market is being pumped up by banks. All right. The more people who add Bitcoin treasury to their balance, right? The more people who are using AI to be more efficient, right? Speed up productivity. They're making more money. This pushes money into the system along with quantitative easing by the feds. And so I want to give you guys some quick commentary to let you see where we're going, where we're headed, all right? So all of these things will make sense throughout the rest of the month as things are happening, all right? Thank you guys for watching again. Smash that like button. This is the Unique Trading Group, and I'm Coach UV. Appreciate you guys watching. Now let's get into it.
Larry, good to have you here. Thank you for being here. Carl,
David,
and Jim will probably ask some questions as well, no doubt about that. I guess, it seems as though things are working on all fronts for you. Is this as good as it can get, Larry?
well, it is gratifying. I mean, what really identified us in the third quarter, the breadth of where we grew. It wasn't just one business area. It was from cash to our systematic equity, our AI-based equity team that grew $30 billion over the course of the year, $10 billion in the quarter. Crypto, our digital asset platform, our private markets platform, our investment technology grew as fast as they have in many, many quarters now. And then, just across the board, ETFs, record quarter. So it was not just one product area. It was not just one region. It was a completeness. And I think it comes down to the whole portfolio, the entirety of a conversation. When we bought BGI in 2009, no one thought you could marry passive and active. Well, not only we did that, we've transformed how a portfolio is being engaged. And now with passive, active, publics, privates, And then we overlay investment technology and now digital. We're the firm that more and more people are going to worldwide.
What do you mean by digital?
I do believe we're just at the beginning of the tokenization of all assets, from real estate to equities to bonds across the board.
It's very loud here.
It's very loud.
But it's good. Capital's at work. You like that.
I love capital at work.
Yeah.
But there's $4.1 trillion of money sitting globally in digital wallets. A lot of that money is outside the United States. If we could tokenize a ETF, digitize that ETF, we could have investors who are just beginning to, invest in markets through, let's say, crypto. They're investing in it, but now we could get them into the more traditional long-term retirement products. So we look at that as the next wave of opportunity for BlackRock over the next tens of years, as we start moving away from traditional financial assets by repotting them in a digital manner, and then having people stay in that digital ecosystem. Mm-hmm. They can have their cash, and we have the largest cash money market fund that's tokenized called BITL. Our Bitcoin IBIT is now over $100 billion.
$100 billion, I know, from nothing not that long ago.
And 2 years ago, zero.
Yeah,
so
I know. Well, you weren't always a huge proponent of crypto, as we know.
You love it now. But I grow and learn.
I heard you say that on 60 Minutes.
I did.
Yeah.
Jim?
Yeah, Larry, I wrote How to Make Money in Any Market. A lot because of our talks. Yes, a lot because of what you did. And I dedicate a lot of it to you because I say that people don't know how to invest. People feel that their parents are going to be richer than they ever were. Do you feel that your offerings, if people were to embrace them and work at a company that had this, we could kind of change this world where younger people will spend more money on polymarket betting about whether on some political event, when if they go with what you have, they might be able to, through savings, be better, be wealthier than their parents.
So a great statistic, if you put money to work on January 1st, 2000, and a year later you had the dot-com crisis, 6-7 years later you had the financial crisis, you had the COVID crisis, you still would have made 8% compounded over that entire 25 years versus earning 1%. It is so compelling to be in the market, and this is the story. It's not about if our market's going up or down. Is there a bubble in crypto, or is there a bubble in technology? It's about being in the market throughout the cycle. Even if you put money in the United States in the year 1900, and then you had the Great Recession, you had the Depression, you had all these things, you would have earned over 9% over 125 years. So I'm not here to tell anybody if the markets are going to go up or down, but over a long horizon, and every individual who's thinking about it should be focusing on these opportunities. And I'm absolutely thrilled to see more and more young people investing in equities, not just Polycom. They're investing in equities. And if they can now translate that from just a trading and flipping account into a long-term investment strategy, and be an owner of those over long horizons, over your lifetime, you're going to do really well. And another interesting point, I think I've said this before, but over a 30-year cycle, if you earned an extra 0.5%, over 30 years, 0.5%, your retirement pool of money is up 15% more. Just 0.5%. So the virtue of compounding over 30 years, there's nothing more important. And Jim, you write about this all the time. This is what it takes. It's about being in the market, being focused on this over a long horizon. And the young people who are worried, they're not going to have much to worry about. America still is the best place in the world to invest.
All right, guys. Coming from your man Fink himself. You see, he has actual commentary. He has an opinion, right? Who doesn't have one? Opinions are like IDs. Everybody has it. But listen, he has some validity to what he's saying. I'm an advocate for leaps, all right? I just told my Discord group today, not financial advice, right? And remember, I am a mentor and a coach, not a financial advisor. These videos are for educational and entertainment purposes only. So, all right, let's get educated. But I was telling my Discord group, that I wanted to buy leaps and they could wait for pullbacks, but I was just saying, I got 2027, 2028 call option leaps with expiration dates around those years. And so the volatility doesn't really hurt me as much, me having time on my contract. Understanding that I think SPY hit 700 by Christmas. All right. I think we hit $900, $850 at least on SPY, 8,500, the SPX 9,000 by Christmas next year. All right. These are just my subjective targets. And so before I go into anything else and we finish off the video, first, thank you guys for watching. Hope you've been liking it and getting some great information so far. I want to focus on stops. All right. I want to focus on stops, and we're going to make this quick. All right. We're 20 minutes in the video. I'm going to make sure that you guys get some value from this. All right. So now let's go down to the 5-minute time frame. All right. I'm going to go to the 5-minute time frame because we want to see what happened today. Let's recap today and see these moments that happen on the SPY. All right. Now, just last night, I did a video and we talked about how there were going to be some traders who were going to be chasing, right? We said that they were going to chase price today, all right? And that's exactly what happened, all right? That's exactly what happened today. So let's find the appropriate price. Bear with me as I navigate this screen. I'm going to use the 15-minute time frame. I just want to show you guys how these stops are run, all right? 15. Okay. There we go. Or you've been trading for a while, maybe a year or two. I don't know what your take is about stop losses, right? When you want to talk about stops. So let's talk about it. Your stop loss isn't fear, all right? It's proof you understand the game. You want to stay in the game. It's not about being right or wrong when you take a trade. It's about the probability. So you want to focus on the process, the setup and executing it, right? Establishing your exit, where the pain is at, right? Your risk, where you want to enter in, and where you want to take profits at. That's the game. Sticking to that. Now, depending on you, how good your edge is, how good your instinct is, what level of trader you are, that enhances who you are, of course, the setup, the execution, where you enter in at, where you establish your profits at. That does matter. And if you want to check out some more detailed information on that, a trader that doesn't have that, all right, if this is your first time watching, guys, listen, do me a favor, all right, take that free video course that I have down below in the description. Take that free video course, click that link that pops up down there, all right? And I want you to take that free video course so you can get familiar with some of the lingo. Most people who take this course end up making money within the first week or two. I'm telling you, it's a stupidly simple trick. You'll wonder why you didn't know before, and you'll be begging for more coming back, all right? So do me that favor, come back to that, all right? And then you'll be more up to date. Now, getting back to SPY, all right? Too many traders move their stops like it's negotiation, but the market doesn't negotiate. It doesn't. It forces. Respect that structure, all right? Respect the structure and respect your account, all right? Process over the profits, period. You can't control outcomes in the market, all right? You control your exits, and that control keeps you alive long enough to see the next opportunity, to see the next day, all right? Risk to reward. Now, before we get into that, now I want you to think about something very, very pure. What do we have right here? All right, right up at the top, we have a horizontal line here. Make that a red line, all right? These are where stops lie, okay? These are where stops lie, all right? We also have stops here that were ran. Now, what am I saying by that, all right? Now, we just talked about how I made a video, put out a video just 24 hours ago, last night, talking about how people were going to chase the market, and then right when they're done getting out of their positions and having doubt, the market was going to reverse on them, all right? That's what we've seen. So how is that possible? All right, today is the 31st, correct? All right, the 29th, 30th is right here, okay? 30th is right here. All right, so we close right here, okay? This is the day previous, and today's the 31st. Now watch what happened. I want you to think about this. If somebody bought calls right here, right? They bought calls, price went up, gapped up. They made some money, all right? They made some money, we gapped up, okay? Right here, okay, right here is a previous resistance level where price fell from. So if somebody got into a trade right here, their exit, right, their optimal exit, all right, because there's a lot of movement between here and there, all right, Like, it's $1, $2, $3, $4 move. So the $4 target would be right here. That's that trader's exit. And what happened? We exited. But somebody else is not watching it. That's the battle between rookies and pro traders who have a plan and the ones who are just chasing on hope. This is where it happens at, and the organic move is happening because of human behavior. You understand? That's your signal. So somebody's taking their profits and the market retraces, all right? But guess where their stops were, all right? Guess where the stops were? Somebody who shorted the market from here, all right? Let's say they forgot to take off the order. Their order's there, all right? It's liquidity there. Stops got ran and we retraced right back to a previous demand zone. We created a higher low, a technical setup right here, higher low, all right? Just to retest, just to go back and retest the previous range, all right? Now somebody's stop is right here. Pay attention to this. Somebody's putting a stop right here. That's the stop. Why? Because they got into calls here. They wanted to ride it back up for this little 1 to 2 risk to reward, because buying here would be a better risk to reward to the upside than to buy right here, okay? Get more money gain off of the value, undervalued, right? Okay? But somebody bought here, okay? They bought here and they put their stop below this candle, all right? Made their money and got out, all right? The market resets, but maybe somebody else didn't get out. Stops get ran, all right? Price resets. Once the trade execution is happening, targeting previous levels. You would have noticed right here that this is overhead resistance, a lower high. That's bearish pattern setup, right? Bearish technicals, okay? We came back and ran those stops. Boom, hit them out, took them out, just to retest right here. Now, I warned people that there were going to be some rookies chasing. Once they chase price, not understanding that somebody else is trading a setup and a plan right in front of you, they chase. And when they chase hard and buy hard, it goes against them. All right, panic selling. Just to retrace another demand zone, we reset at. That's the reset, guys. That's the reset, all right? A reset that I love, one of my favorite trading signals, a W shape. Let the bears try once. Let them try twice, right? That's your W shape, okay? Once, twice. You got the ones here, all right? You got your twice here. A two-try failure, a technical pattern. The bears failed here. They failed once. We just talked about stops. We know where the stops are, right? We talked about this, correct? Somebody's running stops, all right? There's stops here. So if price is here, price wants to run back. Somebody shorted it, right? Somebody bought puts. They're selling the market down, making money as it falls. They're getting out. Price is resetting. We trapped them. They couldn't make it. The bears failed the rotation to break these lows here. One try, two try. Now I want to target the highs again. See, are you starting to understand? Is it resonating? And now these stops get hit. And so you see the same thing happening back and forth. It matters where you are in the position. Get in position at the best risk to rewards, at the high probability setups. This is just one I'm presenting to you. There are more. But if you're in the trade, the entries and the exits based off of these, right? You can be taking your profit when everybody's chasing because you're targeting these levels. You're targeting these levels, all right? Even if you don't understand about the two-try failure, let's take everything off. Your entry could be simple line breaks. Look at that. Breaking of structure. Enter above there. See another one here? Look at that. Another way to say what I'm saying. No two-try failures, just simple line breaks. Buying above market structure. You see that, guys? Come on, man. Listen, I'll give you that. All right, I want you to just understand that. That was very important for me to say to you. Hope you guys have been watching. You've been sticking this long. There must be some value. So I really do appreciate it because these videos are going to change the way you trade. You understand? So that's the psychology, all right? That's the confidence. That's what you need. Trading isn't about numbers and charts. It's confirmation, all right? It's confirmation and confrontation, all right? What's the confirmation? Confirmation is human elements, human behavior. You see these things when it's happening. The break of that, you already know what's happening. Momentum is being lost. Switching, market structure, price action. You already know that. What's the confrontation? The confrontation is with yourself, constantly hesitating, right? Fear missing out, FOMO trades, chasing green candles, selling red candles. This is what causes feedback loops in the market. Your power is your patience. Patience when others panic. Focus when others fumble. That's the real edge, all right? The crowd trades emotions. You trade evidence. That's why they chase and you capitalize. When volatility spikes, stay grounded. When silence hits, stay alert. Watch for the setup. Be patient. The best trades are made sitting on your hands and watching. You're not here to predict, you're here to execute. That's what you're here to do. Execute. So I want you guys to stay ready. All right. Stay relevant. You already know the trade signals for SPY. You're watching out for that closing price. Remember, we closed at 682. You want that to be above, price to be above that for bearish, for bullish momentum. But below that closing price, 682, we're going to be bearish, trying to revisit some of these levels. But remember, we have more data, more earnings next week. So be prepared for volatility. All right, I want you guys to stay locked in. I want you to trade smart, and remember, the signal doesn't make you profitable. Your discipline does. That's what it does. Your discipline does. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Right? If you have thus far, smash the like button and consider subscribing. YouTube is telling me 70% of the people watching are not subscribed. So you might as well subscribe. It's free. Okay, this is the Unique Trading Group. I'm Coach UV, and here is where strategy meets mindset and discipline turns into income. And guys, be careful. All right, be blessed, and watch out for the next video I'll be posting over the weekend. Until next time, guys, peace.